Ready to dive into the world of sustainable travel. Today, we're getting to know Terra, a company with a really interesting backstory and some seriously big plans for ecotourism.
What's really cool about Terra is how much their history revolves around conservation.
Yeah, it's not just like throwing up a bunch of eco lodges, right?
Right. It's much deeper than that. Their commitment to the environment goes way back.
And it all started with one guy's mission to revitalize a farm in South Africa, Adrian Gardner, and that amazing place he created, the Shamwari Game Reserve.
So Adrian found these old documents,
Okay.
manuscripts from the 1820s, that describe this incredible biodiversity that the area used to have.
Wow.
He was inspired, decided to bring that back.
Wow.
And at that time, the area was a drought-stricken farm. Transforming it was a huge undertaking.
I bet. I can only imagine the pushback he got. People probably thought he was crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, this was all happening during apartheid in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
Talk about social and political turmoil. It wasn't exactly smooth sailing for a project like that.
Definitely not the ideal setting for such a groundbreaking conservation project. So what changed things for Shamwari?
The 1995 Rugby World Cup.
Ah, okay.
South Africa hosted. The world was watching. And then
Right.
international tourism just exploded after that.
Yeah, makes sense.
And people, they were looking for something different, something authentic and ethical.
Yeah.
And there Shamwari was, ready to offer exactly that experience.
This once degraded farm, now teeming with wildlife, became this iconic African game reserve. It's a great story.
It really is. And its success had a ripple effect. You started seeing neighboring farms creating their own private reserves, all inspired by Shamwari.
Wow.
It really highlighted how conservation and business can not only work together, but actually thrive.
Shamwari is owned by the Investment Corporation of Dubai now. They even had that Netflix show Shamwari Untamed.
I saw that.
It's a big deal. But what about Gardner? Did he just retire to a beach somewhere?
Gardner retires. No way. That guy has, endless energy.
So, inspired by the success of Shamwari, Adrian and his son Paul wanted to take that model global, which led to them founding Terra Nova. It's amazing how they're using their experience to create sustainable tourism all over the world, and they brought in some major talent, too. Tell me about Ashley and Bruce.
Absolutely. Ashley Commons, co-founder of Terra Nova International, she's all about that meticulous project management.
Oh, okay.
Think of her as a conductor, making sure every single detail is in harmony, from the design phase all the way to the hospitality side.
I like that. And Bruce, he's the one who makes sure all those eco-friendly dreams don't bankrupt them.
Yeah, you got it. Bruce McNichol, he leads the development part of the business.
Yeah.
He's a master at sustainable building practices, making sure everything is environmentally sound but still makes financial sense.
Gotcha.
And he has this philosophy. He always says, why reinvent the wheel?
Right.
They've got decades of experience.
Yeah.
They know what actually works. They take that knowledge and use it in really innovative ways.
Okay, so walk me through it. How does their combined expertise actually create a successful project?
Let's say they're building a luxury eco-lodge deep in the rainforest.
Okay.
Ashley's team would design it so carefully,
Yeah.
using sustainable, locally sourced materials that blend in with the rainforest. They want to minimize the impact on the environment.
Right.
Bruce, on the other hand, he's making sure the construction itself is up to the highest sustainability standards. He might incorporate things like recycled materials, optimize everything for energy efficiency,
Oh, okay.
maybe even bring in renewable energy sources, all while making sure it's functional and beautiful.
Wow. It's all about that balance. Beauty, sustainability, functionality. And it's all thanks to their combined expertise. And it's not just talk, right? Terra Nova's already doing big things globally.
Oh, for sure. Their projects are everywhere. Saudi Arabia's royal reserves, the shores of Bahrain. They've got projects in Iceland, Norway, England, Barbados, you name it. And, of course, back home in South Africa.
It's amazing that it all started with one man's idea to revive a single farm. But how does a relatively small company manage such diverse projects? How do they tailor their approach to such different environments and cultures?
That's where what Paul Gardner calls Shamwari DNA comes in.
Okay.
It's about understanding what made Shamwari so successful and finding creative ways to apply those principles to new situations and new challenges.
Yeah. Okay, you've got me intrigued. Tell me more about this DNA. What are these principles and how does Terra Nova put them into practice?
It goes beyond just environmental respect. It's ingrained in every aspect of their work. from how they involve the local communities to their overall long-term vision. They're not just swooping in with some one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
They really take the time to understand the local ecosystem, what the unique challenges are, and what the potential is for sustainable development in that specific place.
So working with nature, not against it.
Remember how important it was to Shamwari that conservation wasn't done in isolation?
Yeah, makes sense. You got to get the local communities involved, right?
Exactly. And Terra Nova really takes that to heart. They understand that their projects are not just about creating pretty landscapes. It's also about creating jobs, supporting local businesses, empowering those communities to become stewards of their own resources.
So they're investing in the long-term well-being of the community, not just building a quick tourist trap.
Exactly. And that kind of leads into the final part of that Shamwari DNA.
Building legacies, not just hotels, it's pretty inspiring stuff. But let's be real for a second. Not every business has those same ideals. Profit usually wins out in the end. So how does Terra Nova convince investors, developers that this whole Shamwari DNA approach is actually the smarter business model, the more sustainable one in the long run?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's honestly what sets Terra Nova apart. Their secret weapon. Hard data.
Okay.
They've tracked decades of experience from Shamwari and their other projects. They can actually demonstrate the economic viability of sustainable tourism.
So they can actually show investors the numbers. Proof that eco-friendly practices are good for the planet and good for business.
Exactly. They can say, look, eco-friendly practices might mean spending more upfront, but the long-term return on that investment, both in terms of profit and positive impact, it's undeniable. They're appealing to both the heart and the head, you know.
Yeah. And that's a powerful argument, especially these days. Climate change, environmental damage, those are just loud alarm bells. Terra Nova's showing us we don't have to choose between development and protecting the environment. We can do both.
Absolutely. And they're not just talking about it, they are living proof that it works.
It's like they're rewriting the rules. Sustainability isn't just some afterthought. It's the foundation of their whole business.
And that's what makes their story so powerful. It's not just about building hotels. They're leading a movement to prove we don't have to choose between economic growth and taking care of the environment. We can do both.
This has been eye-opening. Thanks for sharing all this with me.
Happy to do it. It's always exciting to talk about companies that are truly walking the walk when it comes to sustainability.
And to everyone listening, we hope you've enjoyed our journey from the heart of South Africa to the forefront of sustainable travel. If Terra Nova's story has inspired you, remember that we all have the power to make a difference. Choose to travel responsibly. Support businesses that make sustainability a priority. Let's create a world where exploring our planet and protecting it go hand in hand. Until next time, keep those curious minds diving deep.